Everyone's focused on the spinning top at the end. But what if the movie's real ending was already hinted earlier in the film? There's one specific scene in Inception, quiet, emotional, and easy to miss, that may actually prove Cobb never woke up. And once you see it, the whole movie changes. If you're into untangling movie mysteries and spotting hidden clues, hit that like button and subscribe. We break down the details that most people overlook in films. Now let's begin. During the end of Inception, Cobb completes the final dream mission and wakes up, supposedly, on the airplane. Everyone is quiet. No questions are asked. Customs lets him through without a word. He's met by his father-in-law and finally returns home. Once there, he sees his children playing in the yard, just like in his memories. He spins the top, his so-called totem, on the table. And then he walks away to embrace his kids. The camera lingers on the top, spinning and wobbling ever so slightly, until the screen cuts to black. For years, that moment has split audiences. Did the top fall, proving Cobb was finally back in reality? Or was he still dreaming, lost in a fantasy he chose to accept? But here's the thing. This video isn't about the top, because the movie's real answer might have come much earlier. A single scene buried in the middle of the film quietly breaks the illusion and reveals the truth. Cobb never left the dream. This moment takes place in limbo, the deepest level of the dream world, where time stretches and reality loses all structure. It's where Cobb confronts Mal, not the real Mal, but a projection of her created by his subconscious. At first, the scene feels like emotional closure. Cobb finally faces her, tells her she's not real, and walks away. But beneath the surface, it reveals something much more troubling. That Cobb may still be stuck in a dream, and his grip on reality is slipping. Mal doesn't just blame Cobb for her death. She questions whether the world he believes in is real at all, turning his own logic back on him. She repeats the line, "You're waiting for a train." A phrase that once carried emotional meaning but now feels mechanical and repetitive, like a loop in a dream. It's a subtle signal that Cobb isn't processing memory. He's stuck replaying it, a hallmark of unresolved trauma. Mal herself behaves unlike any other projection in the film. She's not flat or passive like other dream characters. She's confrontational, self-aware, and emotionally sharp. She knows things Cobb doesn't want to admit. She accuses, challenges, and even acknowledges that he's tried to bury her. That's not how projections usually behave. It's how guilt behaves. Intelligent, unrelenting, and painfully personal. Cobb tries to dismiss her, insisting she's not real, but his reaction betrays him. He's defensive, shaken, and emotionally vulnerable. If Mal were just a mental illusion, why does she affect him so deeply? Because in that moment, Cobb is arguing with himself and losing. His rational mind is trying to silence the emotional truth that's been festering inside him, and it's failing. Perhaps the biggest giveaway is how Cobb never questions how he arrived in limbo. He just appears there, in the middle of a scene, with no memory of getting there, no beginning, no transition. That's classic dream logic. In waking life, we remember how we got from one place to another. In dreams, we don't. We simply accept where we are. And even after that confrontation with Mal, which should feel like resolution, the film continues to behave like a dream. Cobb supposedly wakes up on the plane, surrounded by his team, yet no one acknowledges what just happened. They all sit in silence, as if nothing occurred. At customs, no one questions him. He walks through the airport without resistance, and his father-in-law is conveniently waiting. Everything falls into place too neatly, too perfectly. When he gets home, his children are exactly as he remembered. In the same position, doing the same things, wearing similar clothes. It feels less like reality and more like a dream Cobb has been chasing. The top spins, yes, but the real evidence of the dream isn't in the top. It's in the dreamlike way everything unfolds. Movie director Christopher Nolan doesn't spell it out for us, but through emotion, structure, and detail, he hints at the uncomfortable truth. Cobb may never have woken up. That confrontation with Mal wasn't closure. It was a warning. And everything that follows might be the final layer of Cobb's fantasy, one where he gets to rewrite the ending, see his children again, and finally escape his guilt, even if it means staying in a dream forever. In the dream, Cobb confronts the deepest layers of his own guilt, denial, and emotional dependency. Mal's words are highly specific. She attacks the exact fears Cobb tries to suppress: that he abandoned her, that he's lost touch with reality, that he can't tell what's real anymore. But instead of processing those fears, Cobb does what he's always done. He controls the narrative. He dismisses Mal as a projection, refuses to engage with the doubt, and moves on. It's the classic defense mechanism of someone who isn't ready to face the truth. And the setting reinforces that. The architecture of limbo is surreal, shifting, and impossible, made entirely from Cobb's memories. Mal even points that out, saying, "You keep telling yourself what you know, but what do you believe?" It's not just a line, it's a challenge. And Cobb never answers it. This scene is Cobb's mind trying to wake him up. But instead of listening, he doubles down on the illusion. That's not escape, that's surrender to the dream. And that very scene is a thematic turning point. Everything Inception builds toward emotionally is contained in that moment with Mal. And it all comes back to three core ideas: guilt, memory, and loops. Cobb's entire journey is driven by guilt. Over Mal's death, over planting the idea that led her to it, and over abandoning his children. He says he wants to get home, but emotionally, he's never left the moment Mal died. Limbo becomes the physical space where that guilt lives, and the conversation with Mal is the clearest expression of it. Then there's memory. Director Nolan shows us that Cobb's dreams are built from fragments of the past, reconstructed memories that feel real but are incomplete. Mal accuses Cobb of creating a version of her that isn't real. And she's right. He doesn't remember everything perfectly. His subconscious has rebuilt Mal the way he wants to see her. And that's exactly what we do in dreams. Memory becomes a tool for self-preservation, not truth. Finally, there's the idea of loops. The phrase, "you're waiting for a train," comes back again and again, like a song stuck in a dream. This isn't just poetic repetition. It's symbolic of Cobb's psychological trap. He's stuck in a loop of denial, of refusing to face reality, of reliving the same emotional trauma. Just like dreams, his mind keeps circling the same unresolved pain. The limbo scene with Mal isn't an interruption in the plot. It's the key to understanding that Cobb's reality is his creation. And it's not built on logic. It's built on emotion he can't let go of. If you're still watching, you're clearly as obsessed with Inception as we are. Hit subscribe as we break this down even further. Now, if the scene with Mal in limbo is the emotional and psychological core of Inception, then the clues surrounding it confirm its deeper meaning and its central role in revealing the truth. First, Cobb's wedding ring. In every dream sequence, he wears it. In supposed reality, it's gone. During the limbo scene with Mal, the ring is clearly visible. That alone tells us he's not grounded in the real world. He's still navigating a dream space shaped by guilt and memory. Second, Mal knows things that a projection shouldn't. She challenges Cobb with personal memories and doubts he's never voiced out loud. If she were just a figment of his mind, why is she so persuasive, so intelligent? It suggests this version of Mal isn't just a dream character. It's a manifestation of Cobb's conscience, confronting him with truths he refuses to face. Third, the visual design of the space they're in. Vast, crumbling buildings drawn from past memories. Clearly unnatural. Cobb himself admits it's constructed from pieces of their old life together. But he never questions why he's still there. He treats the scene like a necessary step, not a red flag. That's not rational behavior in reality. It's exactly what someone would do inside a dream they think they're controlling. And finally, the emotional tone. This scene is too perfect in its sadness. The lighting, the music, the dialogue, it all feels designed to evoke closure. In the real world, emotions are messy and unresolved. In dreams, they're stylized, heightened, and constructed to deliver a feeling. That's exactly what this scene does. It gives Cobb what he needs emotionally, not logically. All of these details, visual, emotional, and symbolic, point to one conclusion. This scene isn't just important. It's the moment Cobb's subconscious speaks the loudest. And instead of listening, he suppresses it, so he can stay inside the illusion. By the time we reach the final scene, Cobb has already made his choice. He's stopped questioning reality, because this moment with Mal showed him the cost of continuing to doubt. Rather than escape the dream, Cobb embraced the fantasy, because the pain of waking up was greater. That's why the ending feels so smooth, so emotionally satisfying. The airport is quiet. There's no confrontation. He walks through customs without a word. His father-in-law is waiting. His kids are in the exact same spot, in the same clothes, in the same pose as they've always been in his memory. It's not reality. It's reward. Cobb's subconscious finally gives him what he's been craving. Peace. Not truth, not clarity, just emotional closure. And that's what makes the limbo scene with Mal so important. That was his last chance to confront his guilt, to wake up. But instead, he rejected it. And in doing so, he gave himself permission to stop asking questions. The top spinning in the final shot doesn't matter. Not because it's ambiguous, but because Cobb doesn't care anymore. And neither should we. The real point is that he chose the dream. And that moment with Mal was the turning point that made it possible. So in the end, it was never about whether the top falls. It was never about proving if Cobb was awake or dreaming. The real answer, the emotional answer, was in that one scene with Mal. That's where Cobb stopped searching for the truth and started surrendering to what he wanted to believe. He chose the dream not because he was fooled, but because it gave him peace. And that changes everything about how we view the ending. It's not a cliffhanger. It's a character choosing illusion over pain, comfort over reality. So now the question isn't, was it a dream? It's, if it were you, would you wake up? Let us know your theory in the comments. Do you think Cobb ever left the dream? Or did he just build a better one? And if this breakdown made you see Inception in a whole new way, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for more endings explained simply. Because here at TV and Film Explained, we don't just watch the story, we unlock it. See you next time.